4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. You've all probably heard these numbers, which add up to 108, in some form, even if you don't know the source. They've been in games and other filmed media, TV and film alike. And for some of us, they just don't mean much. They're just a meme that got passed around. But I almost got on the bandwagon from the start. I watched the first season of Lost because during its initial run in the UK, it was available through standard terrestrial channels. Unfortunately, after that point, Sky picked up the rights, and to this day, I have not paid Sky a penny of my money. So I just couldn't see them. Years went by and I just forgot about it. I saw the numbers, like I say, crop up in games, films, etc. But I was like, there's 5 years of material, to be honest 6 years, because I'd need to watch the first one again, that I haven't got the time or energy to sit at. I know how it ended roughly. So I just sat there for a long time without this. It ended in 2010, but I only finished watching it earlier this year. And there's a lot of good here. There is a lot of good here. But there's also a lot that's a bit hand-wavy and a lot that's, I think, JJ trying to bring his mystery box, as he always describes it, into the forefront of everything, but it doesn't quite work. He's putting too much mystery and not really focusing on telling a good story in certain places. There's also a lot of behind-the-scenes issues. The whole Matthew Fox incident with a woman on a bus, if I recall correctly. The fact that Dominic Monaghan is much more of a tool than I ever thought. I've watched all the behind-the-scenes stuff for The Lord of the Rings, and he seems like a fun guy. He seems like a nice guy. And when I hear about all the stuff that he was doing, which made the last season of Lost a nightmare for other members of the cast, I was amazed. I just thought he was acting really well when Charlie was being a bit of a tool himself. But no, apparently this was his real personality coming out. And some of it, I think, was attributed to the relationship with Evangeline Lilly breaking down. Being in the same place as your ex and having to work with them isn't fun. So I understand that, but be professional, dude. And you can see it, particularly in the last episode. There are moments when Matthew Fox is looking very annoyed, I think, towards Charlie, Dominic, should I say. And I think there are moments where you can see that from other cast members as well. But that one moment in the church really stuck out to me. But I never, during my first run, really understood the numbers, like I say. I never understood anything about the Dharma Initiative. I understood about certain characters because, again, they just passed into common knowledge, like Jacob and the Man in Black and the Smoke Monster. Technically those last two are the same person, but you know what I mean. But the whole lore of the island, the whole idea that they are controlling the good in the world, none of that ever came to me, and I was doing myself a disservice because I enjoyed that. I like the mythology. I just think sometimes it doesn't service the plot in the right way, or they try and shoehorn it and things like that. The Dharma Initiative stuff, was interesting, but I didn't like going back to the 1970s. And the whole time travel thing, that felt kind of like we wanted to take it in a different direction, but we didn't want to do a completely new series, so we're just going to shoehorn it in here. And okay, they made it work again with hand-waviness. There's a lot that they could have cut out, and maybe it could have been shortened by a season or two, but overall, I did enjoy it. And I think the last season, it always felt rushed to me. It didn't feel rewarding in the right way. And I really thought that maybe there was some issue with the network and they weren't going to get it funded, or the production company, whatever. They didn't want to do any more, and they knew this halfway through the last season or something. So they had to wrap it up and make it this whole, we're kind of in an afterlife scenario. But no, this was the plan, and I don't like that. I do think the last episode felt very on the nose with a lot of stuff. And I like things to not be spoon-fed. And I did feel that was the biggest issue with the last episode. I do like the idea that all of that season is they're in like a holding pen, if you will, like a limbo, before they can fully accept that they are dead now, before they can fully comprehend what has happened to them and pass on. I do like that idea. I just don't like how it was done at the end. I thought that the idea of Christian Shepherd and his name being very much like, oh, Christian shepherd, he's shepherding them. I didn't like that. That felt very, very like just, look what we've done, aren't we clever? That didn't feel like a planned thing. I think that was just an accident. They went, wait, we've got a guy called Christian Shepherd, let's do this. I did get the inklings of something, though, when I saw the inside of the room in the church, where he opens the coffin and his dad's not in it, because there is a stained glass thing behind that has various different faiths' symbols. And yes, there are all faith churches out in the world, and they probably have this. But my brain was like, they can't be this simple. There's got to be something. Maybe this is like they're all dead and this is an afterlife. And I did like the idea that they all sit together and it's the people they're closest to who guide them. And they go with those people who they've shared life experiences with. I do think that Aaron and Jion, the Kwon's baby, I've said that terribly. My pronunciation was completely off. I'm sorry, Korean people. But I do think both of those are not real, because they didn't experience everything on the island. They did, but most of their life was spent off the island, so they'll have other people. It is kind of sad that their parents won't be there for them, but they will probably have some kind of fake version of their parents once they're in the afterlife, so they'll know. And whatever's on the other side, they will see them in, assuming that there is something after, and it isn't just a I'm happy with ending. It's not entirely clear, and I think that's where it does give that applicability. Whatever you believe is beyond those doors is fine. I do respect that. But I also love the fact that Eloise says, don't take Daniel, don't tell him yet. I want him to be happy, at least for a while here. And I love the fact that Duncan does go, yeah, that's fine, I'm okay with this. There's a lot that's hand-wavy, there's a lot that's really, like the whole backstory to Jacob with the island and his mother and his brother and all that kind of stuff was a bit disappointing. I think there could have been better explanations for what's going on the island, and even the explanation they went with could have been done better. But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great analysis of what people do under stress. It was a great way of kind of looking at what happens when we die. I do like the idea that there is a limbo that we're in that gives us time to acclimate to the idea that we are no more. I do like that. But overall, yeah, Lost is a series that gave us a lot of people, actually. There's a lot of people here that went on to do things like Once Upon a Time, which I will do a video at some point for, I promise, and other things that we may have seen these people in. A lot of people I thought would break out and be really popular and everywhere didn't. And I'm just going to end with one little thing that bugged me through the entire series, and that's Josh Holloway's weird body proportions. Those sloped shoulders, once I spotted them, I could not see it. Apparently his calves look weird, but I didn't see that. But those shoulders will torment me throughout the rest of my days, so I'm going to leave you with that thought too. But that's all I'm going to say about Lost, so as always, thank you for watching, and take care.